It's Saturday morning and I'm experimenting with my new style, which you may have seen me gravitating towards in my past few videos with the vase full of flowers and garden with planters. So these are all views that are long shot and not up and close, which my past videos have been all along. So this series of videos is for sure a slightly advanced level because doing a long shot view presents a new challenge. And the challenge is to manage shade and shadow, manage the values so that it's more like a scene and not the detail of the flowers. That said, as much as I like to bin my videos into easy, medium, hard, advanced, these are just tags. They mean nothing. If you're driven and ready to try, these tags can be completely ignored. What a slightly more difficult watercolor painting needs is a bit more planning, a bit more thinking ahead of what are the steps involved. If we lay those down before we start, everything becomes easier and is more likely to fall into place. So for this, I'm using Arches cold press paper, colors from Schminchke, Holbein, and Daniel Smith. If you're painting along, see complete list of supplies in the description. And if you're here to watch, which I think is half the learning, then let this door full of flowers completely enchant you. So for this floral painting, let's take a look at the colors we used. Again, done in a abstract, slightly impressionistic style. And I hope you like it. I'm moderately happy with how it came out. I mean, could have been better, but one always feels that. I would say if you achieve 80% of your imagination, that's like the most I usually get in my best outcome. Most of the time it's just 50. So this was still on the happy outcome side. So the only yellow I used was Permanent Yellow Deep. And this was used, you may not visibly notice this, but this was used in the color of the bricks, mixing it with the vermilion hue. And I believe that's it. So Permanent Yellow Deep. The next in the spectrum was the vermilion hue. Both of them go very well. If you're choosing between vermilion and vermilion hue, the vermilion is tad bit deeper, but it also shines like the hue. I believe there is a difference of a pigment here and there, and hue generally means, from whatever I know, this is a vast subject, so I could be wrong, but whatever I've read, hue generally means it's like if it's a vermilion and vermilion hue, there was an original vermilion. Maybe it was a little more fugitive, or there were some issues with availability, and they came up with another alternate pigment which was very close to it. So vermilion and vermilion hue are very close to each other. Vermilion hue generally mixes slightly better than the yellows than the vermilion, but at times I like vermilion better a bit because if you want to take a look, there was a couple of Easter paintings that I did a few weeks ago, and I was using vermilion there. And when I keep even a smaller painting at a distance in the room, that vermilion really shines, although it seems deeper, but it really shines. And I think vermilion hue gets you closer, but there is something about the original vermilion that really makes me happy. In this, you can clearly see the vermilion. It's in the flowers, and like I said, in the bricks when I mixed it with Permanent Yellow Deep. So that was the Permanent Yellow Deep and the vermilion. The next color was the Bright Rose. This is another luminous color, and I often use it knowing that it's a little fugitive, but you know, when your eventual goal is to not display your paintings in sunshine and you more believe in taking prints or selling prints, it probably doesn't make that much of a difference, and you can keep them in a box safe away from light, and I believe it will still survive. So Bright Rose, a very favorite color of mine. And then in the same theme, there is this Bright Violet, and this also is luminous, and both of them probably have some dyes in there, so they're not made from pigments, they have some mixed in dyes. There is some difference between how dyes work and how pigments work, and I'll probably cover in one of my videos, but it's a slightly deeper and more involved subject. So bright yellow, know that the bright violet and the bright rose, they both have dyes in there, and that's why they're luminous. Going towards the greens, there was a leaf green. So you can see the bright violet here, and you can see the leaf green here, and you can also see the vermilion that pretty much form the backbone of the flowers in the vine or the creeper. And then another core color that covers the shadows of the creeper is the shadow green. And I could have used undersea green. I could have used another green. I could have used an olive green, but the shadow greens give a total shadow green gives a total different feel. It's a little bit more risky because it can make the painting look a little dead, because originally it is a black pigment. But you know, if you do it carefully, you know, it's not as bad as a couple of black pigments that are, you know, that usually the artist advise against. So there was a leaf green, and then there is a shadow green. And then there was a blue, which you can see in the door, and this could have been any blue, you know, not necessarily that you have to use a granulation pigment or super granulation pigment from Schminchke. This one is a Glacier blue, and you could have used a phthalo, you could have used you know, phthalo would lend itself very well, or a compost blue. Just mix it up with any brown, you'd get this kind of old door feel. So if you don't have super granulation pigments, no big deal. So this one is a Glacier blue. It is a mixture of a couple of pigments. Let me get the master one here, but the master one was not used. It was used in a very small amount, just, you know, a speck, not a speck, but just a bit, you know. So that's Glacier blue. And then there was all the very dark wrought on the door and some deeper shadows, was all sepia. Sepia is a beautiful color. It will never make your painting look muddy, and will give you the dark tones, although it will not give you that deepest black tone that sometimes you might seek. So, but for most purposes, it's a very safe color to go after. So I believe that's it. I hope you enjoyed this session, and I hope you will give this a shot.